Greetings and peace. I hope you and yours are doing well today, wherever you might be watching this from. Now, the title of this video is Thank You, Hideo Kojima, for the years of knowledge, experience, and education. Now, Hideo Kojima is such a masterful storyteller. I grew up enjoying his basically the stories and the adventures that he takes you on, starting with the Metal Gear Solid video games I started playing in elementary school. The first one, and it was such a deep adventure and a sense of history and reflection and courage. His video games got me through some tough times in my life, and I want to thank him for that. And the knowledge and the spirituality and some of the messages that he presents in his games, those I believe can only be felt by a few. You got to really put yourself in his mind and see what is he trying to teach you. Especially with the first one about where it talks about genetics and genes and passing on those memories to your descendants, and what kind of world do you want to leave behind for others, especially now in a world full of chaos and anxiety. How are we benefiting one another with all of the craziness that you've seen at the grocery stores recently, and basically the division that mankind is in right now? It's basically telling us that we've been given this life, and it's up to us to be the shepherds of our communities and our lives, and to pass on a beautiful world to our kids and grandkids, if we're given that privilege to do so. The second game of the Metal Gear Solid games, it talks about how artificial intelligence and misinformation and memes, and this was a game that I played in 5th grade. Metal Gear Solid 2 was released in 2001, but I didn't get a chance to really play it till like later on in my elementary years. But Metal Gear Solid 2 also has very prevalent information. It was released at that time, around 2001, 2002, and it was giving you such important information about AI, about misinformation such as fake news, and certain events or news being manipulated to shape certain events or outcomes. You fast forward now into the 2020 world, whatever was said then, it's all true. Where whatever conversation you're having, even sometimes things that you think about, I know this is crazy to say, you'll find advertisements for it on whatever social media platform that you use. And the way that misinformation and information is being spread out there, it's like he was basically telling us that the warfare that gets fought in the post 2020 world will be about information. It's about what kind of information is being put out there, especially now with recent events. Everybody's putting all types of info out there, but who do you really trust? And that's what Hideo teaches us in the second game, when excuse me, when Raiden tears off his dog tags at the end, and Snake tells him that you have to choose the path that you want to follow. Choose what's right for you, what clicks with your heart. No one has the right to condemn you or say that you're this or you're that. You follow whatever path works for you. As long as you respect yourself and respect others and don't disregard others because of your own pride, then the path that you choose to follow is the right one. And that's what Hideo teaches us, is that we have to take responsibility for our actions, and also to take control of your own destiny. And on top of the being mindful of the misinformation and other agendas that you might get attracted to, that might shape up your mind on certain places, peoples, and things. Same with Metal Gear Solid 3. Metal Gear Solid 3 is also teaches us that what kind of lengths one goes to when they have to prove their loyalty. And sometimes loyalty to yourself is always the answer, as we saw the relationship with Naked Snake and the boss. And the boss was always on his side. She always loved him, she was always on his side, but they all had roles to play. Same with Ocelot, it shows you that he was always on the side of Naked Snake and Solid Snake, but he just had his roles to play. Which shows you that even sometimes in life you think those that are against you they might be really helping you, like without you really knowing. So always give people a chance, and always be true to yourself, and don't be in a state of blind loyalty. As we show, that was something Naked Snake had really, who became Big Boss, really regretted his some of the decisions he made in his life, and then his son, through the conclusion of the Metal Gear Solid 4 game, was able to teach that to him as they reconciled and put the past behind them. Now, moving on to the Death Stranding game. Death Stranding, it's Hideo is basically teaching us like what's happening now in the world. If he was able to teach us about AI and misinformation and all that other stuff in 2002, and that came true to today, then Death Stranding is also teaching us that one day, like without spoiling the story for anybody, one day this life does come to an end. And whether it's an EE or an extinction entity or a beach that you have to cross, make peace with those that are in your lives, whether they're your family, your friends, loved ones, past, present, whoever. Be the better person. Make peace with them for your sanity, for your soul, and for your sake. And see what the future holds, because as the extinction entity in Death Stranding teaches us, is that humanity has what, another 1,000 years, 10,000 years, 15,000 years, but eventually the cycle is going to start anew, and the system gets refreshed again. So it teaches us that even if you, in the grand scheme of things, believe that you can't make a difference, take things one day at a time. Because if you were able to make an impact in the heart of somebody's heart, mind, or soul, then you fulfilled your purpose. It doesn't matter if humanity's going to go extinct in another 10,000 years. That means that you fulfilled your purpose just by existing and smiling and being kind and being a positive influence for somebody. That was your purpose. And to make that impact and take things one day at a time, to be in a state of happiness for whatever it's worth, for however long we can do it, and to always be at peace, to know that all events in your life, past or present, are always interconnected to your story in any way. So I highly encourage, Death Stranding is a new game, so I don't want to spoil it for anybody. I highly encourage everyone to see the deep messages that are in that game about us being connected to our loved ones at all times, and that in this life you never really walk alone, even when you think you are. We're always under the shadow of our loved ones, and whatever happens in the grand scheme of things, always take things one day at a time, knowing that just your presence by being here has made a difference, and that you yourself are a very unique individual with what you had to offer to humanity, with whatever time that we have been given to be here. Life is beautiful, but it's also short. So make good use of it, and always be in a state of love and not fear. And Hideo's knowledge and his empathy and his love for humanity, I know, I can feel him, and the years of knowledge he has provided in his games for those that had the eyes to see and the heart to feel. So I wanted to make this video to thank Hideo, and especially also with Metal Gear Solid 5, at the conclusion of it, he tells us that we created the story together. Who we are, we came here together. And, I am you and you are me. So that's what I want to tell Hideo, is that you are me and I am you. And I want to thank you, my friend, for everything that you given to humanity in your years of knowledge and hard work and service you provided in your games. If others couldn't see it, then I acknowledge you, and I see that. And I wanted to take a moment to thank you for everything. And I hope to continue to see that you have a long life, and I'm given the chance to be here as well for as long as I can, and so I can witness the great things you will continue to do with the knowledge that you have given to humanity. And one thing I always respect about you is that You always given humanity the direction where to go and how to do it, but ultimately it's our free will that decides how we're going to carry things forward. Just like with me, with my videos, I always tell people always be in love and not fear in relation to current events. And even before 2020, I've been telling people that 2020 was going to be a crazy year in my 2019 videos, and always be mindful of the agendas that the agents of chaos would implement. So always be in a state of love and not fear. And once you do that, then nothing's going to affect you in any way. So, but yeah, it's like how Hideo teaches us is that you can guide somebody and tell them, but at the end, it's on them if they want to take action or not. You can advise somebody as long as you want, but if they refuse to take any action, then that's between them and their consequence and free will. So that's another element that he has taught us. So thank you, Hideo. And I pray you have a long life and you continue to give humanity as much knowledge and experience and love that you have provided in your stories. And I thank you for all the years that I basically spent with you in my childhood, with your games, and with all of your creative works that you have put out there for humanity. So thank you again.